you're now at Polaris, Vault has come out, and I don't know whether this is the question to ask at this time. What next after Polaris? What do you see? Okay. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line. What next?
All right. Just like we were discussing, hopefully at some point we get to real what. But what I always do in my career, by the way, I spent 10 years with Wema Bank, a decade of my career. So for now, I spent 5 with Polaris. So we'll see how far God will allow us to stay with Polaris. By the way, Polaris is going through so much, but then in all of it, I have a rest in my mind, and Polaris, we're here for now, we'll do our best. So for everything that I lay my hands upon to do, I always give it my super best. So right now, I'm still putting in my super best into Vault and all that Vault stands for in Polaris. And then at some point in the nearest future, we'll be able to say whether we still want to continue with Vault or God will give us the opportunity to move into something a lot much more exciting. But wow. Definitely in the technology field, in the payment space, that's where I have the forte. That's my forte.
Wow. You know, we've spoken about your education, family, your career. Definitely, we have to talk about your family. I know you have a beautiful wife and fantastic 3 children. I love your children. They're all fantastic. I want to ask you, how easy has it been, or how difficult has it been passing on the values that Papa gave to you, that Mama gave to you? How has it been ensuring that those values, you have passed them on to those 3 wonderful children? That's one. And number 2, I believe as you're also growing up, there's certain values that you have also seen are wonderful. Which ones have you added, even to the ones that Papa and Mama have given to you?
All right, thank you very much. For the family, I'm grateful for the gift of family. God is the foundation, and like I always tell Pastor, I said we got married in Lateran, and then these children, the 3 gifts that God has given in the name of Ayomide, Ayotunde, Ayomikun, were all born within the fold. So we joined Lateran in 1998 when I got back to Lagos. I found my way back because I met Pastor while I was in Kaduna at that ministry where I was serving. So we've all been within I'm going somewhere with this story to say all of the values that I would say I've been able to transfer or build into my family has been taken by extension from Pastor and Mrs. B to us and then transferred to them because so that is it. So the Christian values of having a devotion, keeping ourselves, keeping faithful, being disciplined, Bible study, prayer time, all of those we took from the church and into our family. I've seen that impacted on all of them. Ayomide at some point was in the choir, was in the junior choir. Wow. By the way, all of them play one instrument or the other.
Yes, your children they should actually have started a band. They should have started the Adeyinka band. They all play instruments very well.
Yeah, so and gracefully so, when they got into college, they also continued with those values. Wow. In the choir, in the youth choir, in the different churches where they are right now, in the different ministries. Wow. And they're doing fantastically well. Every time they keep sending links, Daddy, join me online, I'm ministering today. Wow. Daddy, I'm doing this tomorrow, I'm going for this program, pray for me and all of that. Wow. And that we've been doing, and God has been really, really there. By the way, I really just got graduated a few weeks ago.
One has gone, one graduated, 2 more to go. And then they'll tell you they're doing masters and maybe PhD and professorship, whatever they want to do.
They are free.
They're free. Fantastic. Yeah. I'm going to talk about, marriage. Because as a man who has years and, like you said, have more than 20 years now in banking.
Oh, okay, in banking?
Yeah.
Running to 30.
Running to 30 years in banking. And we find a lot of people who have put and devoted their time to their career at the expense of, first and foremost, their marriage. And not just even their marriage, also at the expense of their children. And I want you to speak to that. How have you been able to have a wonderful marriage? I want you to talk about the marriage first, because you were first married and then the children after. How have you been able to put that balance in place such that you didn't just say my career, my career, my career, and then most men, they climb up this career, then they retire, then they want to pick up either the marriage or pick up relationship with the children, and the children were like, you are not there for me. Why are you coming back now? The wife said, no, you are not there for me. We're two strangers. How have you been able to balance the marriage and your relationship with your children in your career?
Okay, there's no talk about marriage without the partner. So all credit to God, and of course to my beautiful wife, Dele Adeyinka, who also, maybe by divine orchestration, was also a Christian from our secondary school days. And so by the time we met in Lagos, by the way, we met in Lagos after our service, and I had returned from my Kaduna experience back to Lagos by God's divine connection, met in Lagos, and then we got married. So it's been God at the center of that relationship. Her being a Christian, being a devoted, born-again Christian, and myself also, and with God at the center, it made it a little easier for us. By the way, she was also in the banking sector. I was also at the banking sector. But when children, I think it was after our first child, maybe the second, that she decided that she was just going to give all her time to the family, just to give emphasis to that sacrifice. So she resigned as a manager when she was in Zenith, left, and then decided to stay fully with them. And then, so that really helped us, because very early in the morning, 7 a.m. meeting, I'm out, but she just had to stay with them, saw them through primary school, we'll be with them in schools, we'll be with them in open day, all of those spelling.
What a sacrifice.
That big sacrifice she covered up for my career and for the family as a whole. So that balance, the balance between us sacrificing our own career for me to continue forging ahead, supported us in holding the family together. Otherwise, those children would have been left to the mercies of either the house help, nannies, drivers, and all whatnot. But thank God she was ready to do that, and she did that for the family. And
fantastic.
That helped us a lot.
I'm going to talk about just give us one sentence or two about your marriage. You've been married for how many years now? 23 years. If a young couple, they're just about to get married, and they come to you and they're like, oh, Uncle Dele, we want to get married. What are the 4 pillars that we need to make this journey last? We want to be married for 50, 60 years. What are the 3 things that we know we cannot do without that would help us in this journey we're about to start? What would be your counsel to them?
Okay, number 1 counsel would be put God in the middle of the triangle. So the only third party allowed will be God, while the 2 of you are there building that family. So that will be 1. God at the center of the family. 2 will be building trust, level of trust between the 2 partners. The husband needs to trust the wife needs to be able to trust the husband. 3 will be accountability. And accountability cuts across different areas. Those days when we never had the mobile, I didn't even know how we survived. But as soon as we had the mobile phone, where you are at any point in time, checking up on them, how they're doing, that is so important. That's on the communication side. The other side is even the accounting and the accountability in itself, managing our finances together. I remember when we were planning our wedding, we had a notebook where we all put a long list of all we wanted, and then we all put in, oh, at this month, this is what we needed to do, this is how we needed, what we needed to save. At this month, we buy a set here, at this one, we'll fix this, we'll fix that. And so we were jointly doing that together, and that extended to even after the marriage. So people talk about joint accounts today, that we practice favorably well in our family. So much so that she has access to almost all that I had. I don't think I have any other thing outside of that she doesn't know, and vice versa. And by extension, we even transfer that to the children. So they all have access to all of what we think we have today. And everybody's happy with that level of transparency.
So God, trust, accountability,
Correct.
Those are the three things that would help us. Wow, we cannot round off this interview without talking about the place of God in your life. You've shared that you had an encounter with the Lord at a very young age. You've shared how that encounter, you got born again, kept you throughout from secondary to university, and then of course, I believe through your career. But I want to just talk about the place of God in your life, especially to our viewers, so they understand, because the essence of this interview is to really show how when God comes into the life of an individual, that transformative power that comes in, that path, that journey that God takes us on. Sometimes the path is not always smooth, it's not always easy, but because we walk with Him, we know that at the end it's going to be a great journey, because definitely we will be with Him. But I just want you to talk about your journey with the Lord, your fellowship, your time with Him, and how you built that up over the years, and of course the role of service, because you do belong to a fellowship, and how has that been for you? Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. I cannot overemphasize or underestimate the power and the role that God in Himself has played in my career, all through the years. My career, my family, and all of my life all together. Remember that there are different ways people prosper, but there's one exciting way where God in Himself, through the prophet, empowers individuals to be prosperous in life. And there are several lessons that Pastor has taught us about this. The presence of the Lord commands prosperity in itself. There was this prophet in the land who says, by this time tomorrow. Wow. So we can't just take out that out of my own story in itself. My encounter with Pastor in Kaduna, 1999, 1998, was what actually made that big turnaround for me. Wow. That was where he laid his hands on me. That was where he quoted Job 8:7. And for the first time in my entire Christian walk, Job 8:7 just stood out for me. Though your beginning was small, it will greatly increase. I held on to that word, and that encounter made me to say, anywhere he is, when I get back to Lagos, this man, I was going to look for this man who told me everything I was going through in that split second that he prayed, and I held on to that so very firmly. And that has been helping. So God has been guiding, God has been helping. It's just the story of David, who was right there with the as a shepherd at the backyard, and God just brought David to limelight. And that's the way I can see my own story. From that very, very, very poor family, I don't know if my parents can take credit for how far I've been able to evolve, but I know God, we can give that credit to God, and the people He has used in surrounding me and guiding and supporting all the way to getting me to where I am right now. And I know it's still a journey, because there's still a lot much more that God has in store that will be unveiled as I continue to work with God. So the role of God and the place of God in my life, in my career, in my family cannot just be overemphasized. It's God all the way.
Wow. Thank you so much. This interview has truly been awesome. And like I would say, your final words, not final words in your life, but final words to our viewers, the young ones, the old ones, somebody who is out there, who is wondering, when will I be like a Dele Adeyinka? How will I become like a Dele Adeyinka? I just want you to share a few words of encouragement to such persons out there.
All right. These few words are just so in my heart. One, for the upcoming ones. Number one, this interview, my life, my career, we've always said it's strictly by God's design and by God's grace. So for those who are coming up, I would like to encourage them to please the place of God in your life, in your career, has to be topmost. I would also like to emphasize the role that hard work plays. Hard work, diligence, they play a major role, because if you check through my resume, go through to LinkedIn, check through all of what I've invested in my career, it's a lot of hard work. From one qualification to the other, from one certification to the other, from one exam to the other, I hardly rest. So a lot of hard work. So if you want to be the toast of the town and you want people to all be crowding and looking for you, you need to be able to show that you have value that you can add to those organizations. If you don't have the value, then it's going to be difficult for them to. So even your mentors will find it difficult to really be able to fight for you when it's required. I'm a chartered accountant today, a fellow of the institute. That wasn't there 10, 15 years ago, but I just had to wake up, burn the midnight candles, do all the hard work, and with all of God's grace and blessing the hard work, we can see the results out there, and I'm trusting God for greater, better, more exciting futures as we still continue not resting on our hours, but keep trusting God and believing that just like the Bible has said, the path of the righteous will continue to shine brighter and brighter and brighter until the perfect day.
Wow. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Mr. Dele Adeyinka. I've truly enjoyed this interview, and I'm sure all our viewers definitely, they're all leaving with something very important. I'm just going to round up with a few things that I've learned today. Number one, I've learned the importance of the values that your parents give to us, give to you. And I think I want to put it out there to all parents that who you are today definitely is part of some of the values you got at home. Don't lose those values. Don't say, oh, we've reached modernization, we've reached the century 21, 22, and therefore you drop them. No, some of those values are good. Let's learn to pass them on. You've also talked to us about the importance of mentors. Having mentors in one's life, whether it's for your career, whether it's for your marriage, your relationship, your spiritual walk, mentors are key. God is putting in place destiny helpers. Your mentors are destiny helpers. They will counsel you, they'll advise you. And like Dele also talked about, it was his mentors that also pulled him up as they were also growing up. And of course, I also learned the importance of preparation, meeting opportunity. You know, you said it, you haven't stopped. You're a chartered accountant, and yet you're in that digital space. You're still reading. I don't know how many masters do you have. Is it one or two? He has 2 masters. So, you know, you don't stop. Why? Because there will come a time when opportunity will present itself. But are you ready? So please get ready. Preparation is very important. And of course, children, passing on godly values to children. God is still fashionable. That's what I'm saying. There's no generation that will come and say God is out of fashion. God is still fashionable. God should be given to our children. Not just the values of the kingdom, but also having that personal relationship. I love the fact that you're talking about your children having their own personal relationship with God. And of course, in parenting, you talked about the sacrifice that your wife had to make to stay at home at a point in time, so that both of you will not be going to look for bread and butter and in the process lose your children or leave your children to nannies and to drivers. Now that sacrifice is paying off today. You can see that you deposited and you're seeing the seed and the fruit coming forth. And of course, in marriage, wow, 3 things that are important. God, he said it over and over again. And of course, trust. Learning to trust one another and accountability. Fantastic. And then you talked about the role of the power of the prophetic word in your life, how truly you've seen your life evolve, your Christian life evolve because of the prophetic word. And of course, what I'm going to take home is that you are who you are today by the grace of God. And that means the foundation of his life is truly God. Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching this interview. The essence of this interview again is to take lives, like the Bible talks about us having living epistles. These are the living epistles, individuals and persons that are alive today, and we can garner and we can pick from their own life experiences what God has taken them through, and we can learn those lessons and also apply them to our own lives. I'm sure there'll be many people that probably have more questions from Mr. Dele Adeyinka. At the end, we will share his social media handles. Pop in your question there, and whatever you feel, anything you want to find out, just pop in your question, and I believe that surely he will reply you. Thank you so much, and of course, please subscribe to this channel, and we're going to have many more fantastic interviews in the days to come. Once again, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.